What happens when a beloved 80s franchise tries to survive the 90s? Well, muscles got bigger, villains got edgier, guns double in size, and suddenly everyone is yelling the word EXTREME like it's going out of style, which ironically it did. This is the story of G.I. Joe Extreme, a show so aggressively 90s it somehow managed to feel nostalgic even while it was airing. In 1995, Hasbro found itself in a crisis. The original G.I. Joe, a real American hero brand, had dominated the 1980s, but by the mid 90s, kids weren't buying military fantasy. Instead, they were buying neon chrome, cyber grit, and whatever the hell early CGI was supposed to be. Hasbro needed a rebrand, a reinvention, a power move. So naturally, they slapped tribal tattoos on everything, hired a metal guitarist to punch the theme song into existence, and delivered the most radically intense version of G.I. Joe ever assembled. G.I. Joe Extreme takes place in the near future of 2006, which, when viewed from the year 2025, feels like alternate timeline fan fiction. The world is in chaos after the fall of a former superpower, and the new terrorist organization called SCAR, led by Iron Claw, is rising to power. He's a warlord, a terrorist mastermind, a European count, and the kind of villain who shouts, "We will be victorious!" purely for cardio. Opposing him is Lieutenant Stone, who responds with action move bravado. And with that, the new Joe roster springs into fame, ready to save the future with oversized firearms and questionable acting choices. But before the animated story even starts, every episode serves up a truly legendary slice of 90s cheese, a pre intro live action segment. Think the 1996 Resident Evil live action cutscenes. Still awkward, overdubbed, and aggressively underdirected. These segments feature actors posing with fake gear, staring intensely into fog machines while CGI graphics float around them like a Windows 95 screensaver. It's gloriously bad, like performance art that didn't know it was performance art. So here's the twist. The character designs were done by the legendary Bill Sienkiewicz, the avant-garde comic artist known for explosive silhouettes, abstract distortion, and visual aggression. And actually, he did the cover art for one of my favorite albums from 1991 called Blind by Corrosion of Conformity. Look it up. Sienkiewicz brought an almost expressionist energy to the cast. Sharp angles, severe jawlines, shadows everywhere. It's like someone tried to draw a real American hero while chugging an entire case of Surge. The result was bold, ambitious, and, of course, extreme. The new Joe team was shaped to fit the times. Lieutenant Stone, Black Dragon, Freight, Quickstrike, Mayday, and, of course, Metalhead. But many of them, let's keep it a buck, were spiritual knockoffs of classic 80s Joes. For example, Lieutenant Stone feels as if Duke and Hawk fused into Robocop Light. Black Dragon is basically a ninja remix of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, but with more humor. Mayday wears Scarlet's personality with 90s armor, i.e., shoulder pads. But standing above all of them in sheer 90s absurdity is Metalhead. He is, without exaggeration, a walking Jeff Spicoli impression, like someone watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High, got as far as Spicoli's first line and said, "Yes, that guy, but with missiles." Metalhead talks like a surfer dude who got lost on the way to a guitar shop and accidentally joined the military. He's iconic, as is terrible. Now, for anyone thinking G.I. Joe Extreme was a total reboot, there is one major link to the original continuity. Sergeant Savage. Originally introduced in the toy line and in his own 1994 pilot episode Sergeant Savage and the Screaming Eagles, Savage is a genetically enhanced World War II soldier thought out in the modern day. Basically, he's Captain America with a worse union contract. And here's the big part. That pilot also features General Hawk from the original Joe series, making a quick cameo to validate the new character and reinforce that this is still the same universe. But is it canon? Once G.I. Joe Extreme launches, Savage officially joins Lieutenant Stone's team, acting as the franchise's bridge character, a living piece of connective tissue anchoring the 90s reboot to the 80s unstoppable legacy. He's the continuity glue, the narrative duct tape, the Joe who proves, yes, kids, this really is the same world, just with 300% more shoulder pads. While G.I. Joe Extreme only ran for 2 issues, riding alongside the Power Block on weekday afternoons and maybe Saturday mornings, depending on your network affiliations, despite the ambition, the designs, and the extreme aesthetic, it never reached the height of its 80s predecessor, or even the cult love of later series like Sigma 6 or Renegades. There was not even a DVD release for this underrated series, but it did leave a few lasting impressions. Ironclaw became one of the most memorable post-Cobra villains. The aesthetic influenced several late 90s toy designs. Sergeant Savage inclusion turned the show into unexpected canon. And most importantly, G.I. Joe Extreme stands as a time capsule of the 1990s. Loud, wild, futuristic, and unabashedly over the top. No, it wasn't perfect. It definitely wasn't subtle, but it was extreme. And that alone gives it a bizarre, unforgettable place in G.I. Joe history.